And we're going to be just kind of taking a skip forward from November 22nd to 2 weeks later to December 6th. And I'm just going to read through here because I was going to try to go through the other papers, but things are moving so quickly, I literally am forced to just move ahead. So here we go. This is the December 6th version of the Cambridge Times. Hospital shows improvement in latest ratings. So we have, a couple of high-profile projects. No, okay, hold on. Senior staff at Cambridge Memorial Hospital had something to crow about during Wednesday's board meeting. Courtesy later. Okay, so yeah, our hospital's getting major run over, like a makeover, I should say. And, it's interesting how things are run in the pharmaceutical agencies in the first place that literally rely on keeping people sick. So I don't know what to say about any of that hospital stuff. I'm just going to move on. Bridge work on the way. Now I'm running out of battery power. Hold on a sec. I think I do have the cable for this here. I did not remember my USB to micro USB, so I have to actually plug this in, but I won't be able to load it, which is a drag. I have to skip through this version very quickly. I'll save myself. Okay, here we are back. Bridge work on the way. Expected spring start on pedestrian connection. Now, if you remember on the other first segment of going through the Cambridge Times November 22nd edition, it mentioned the Gaslight project that has a cybersecurity center and an incubation center, and it just seems creepy. Plans are moving forward to connect the Galt core with the announced Gaslight district project. So they just announced this, really, and they're just going ahead with the bridge that connects it. So they announce it, they go along with it. They just say, this is it, it's what's happening, we're doing this, we don't really care. Even if you write 1 million letters to us, we're not going to care. That's the way Cambridge is. I'm just letting people know. I've been living here for long enough to know that. 45 years old, I'm sick of it. Time to move on. So they're just going to go ahead and make a bridge. The controversial bridge initiative was approved in this year's budget at a projected cost of $1 million. And since then, city staff and project consultants have been refining the plans, working with stakeholders and satisfying the requirements of the Grand River Conservation Authority. They should satisfy the requirements of the Mohawk tribe and the Mohawk territory that you're on. Because we as individuals, if we know about how to treat Mother Nature better and to protect it fully, has more rights than the Grand River Conservation Authority ever will, when you recognize this is a Haldeman Tract and Mohawk territory. Our goal is to design a cost-effective bridge structure that will also make a visual impact on the historic riverscape. I'd like to actually add a picture, if I could, of the siding they threw over the old historic buildings that I live at. So I really want to be able to post that in here. I'm going to do that right now. As you can see at that pic, I just kind of split the video and then add the pic in. I know I could be just narrating and then adding everything behind it, which I will probably do in future episodes. So our goal is to design a cost-effective bridge structure that will also make visual impact on the historic riverscape. Yeah, so far they're not doing so good. Taylor went on to say design work for the bridge has been completed and city staff is now working with a cost estimating consultant to firm up a price tag. They just went ahead with all this development, didn't even ask anybody. The building I live in, you can't even see all the way down the river anymore because they've actually obstructed the view of the river. So, something like that. Continuing to that front page article, because they always do a front page article and then throw the rest of it into another page. Continue from page 1. Like any other Back to the River initiatives, the pedestrian bridge is to be funded through dividends from Energy Plus Inc. Okay, again, Energy Plus Inc. was just Energy Inc., and it was, called something different before that. These energy companies and cities change their name every time they start to implement new policies and stuff like that. And this is only just to put money into a bank account. They change the name so we can, they'll say, oh, everyone make sure when you go to the bank and pay the Energy Plus bill that it's now paid to Energy Plus Inc. because it's just all about ransacking, hijacking, taking the money, running off with it, changing things so people can't keep up with it. Once staff has a chance to review the numbers, they plan to issue for tender call, which could happen within a few weeks. So you know what I mean, the issue for tender call. This kind of language they use here is just flip over things over the public's consensus. Ground is expected to be broken on the project next spring, and the span completed in the late summer, fall of 2017. They've already went ahead and done it. No one gets a chance to catch up to it. Following the Gaslight District announcement, a mix of residential, commercial, and institutional uses in the area of the former Southworks property, Scott Higgins, president of the HIP Development, said the new bridge and Cambridge Sculpture Garden would become permanent parts of his new project. They tried to take that apart before. Okay, I'm not quite sure if HIP did that, but Cambridge tried to take over Cambridge Sculpture Garden before, and we fought really hard to keep it. The people fought hard and kept that. But the city wanted to take it over. They're still doing it creepily. They're still trying to do it. There'll be a gateway to what we are doing here, he said. There'll be a gateway to what they're doing here. A gateway. Interesting. Can you imagine? Because there's underground bunkers from the Dunfield Theatre that's in this Gaslight project. There is underground bunkers there. I heard that 6 to 8 foot wide doors and walls. The doors are 6 to 8 feet wide. I once said that they were a foot wide, and they're not. They're 6 to 8 feet wide. Sorry, it's a bunker under there. I heard that from one of the plans, the founding that does the layout of the laying of the concrete, okay, of the foundation. That the foundation was built so freaking high that it had to hold a certain amount of weight. The foundation was done to be like over, even over 10 meters or 10 feet, of foundation, which is quite a lot of foundation. So there's underground bunkers that go all through this area, the Gaslight project. Can you imagine what it would be like if we could install gas lights on the bridge and around the sculpture garden? At night, it would be magical. See, this is what they're doing, I guess, just making it seem like it's a nice place, but they hide all this cybersecurity stuff within it and control mechanisms within it. This is all hooked up to underground bunkers and the city hall. I'm telling you, folks, this is really creepy. And Ward 4 was pushing this, and Ward 4 just announced that they don't want any other councillors going into closed-door meetings from other wards. They're calling for that. That's tyrannical. You start being secret purveyors, and you're deceiving the public. Okay, so we're just going ahead with this. It really bugs me. There'll be a gateway to what we're doing here. He said, can you imagine what it would be like if we could install gas lights? It'd be magical. So they're just selling it off in this nice little aesthetical thing. So this bridge, which was the Pillar of Hope, they're going to be actually making a bridge going across there. And that's awesome. I'm glad that they're finally doing that. I'm glad that it's here. I thought it was going to be somewhere else. So, I actually kind of agree with that. I don't mind it being there. I think it's kind of all right. It will help people to get to where they want to a little bit faster. You either have to go down Cedar Street or St. Andrews to get to certain areas, and it does take another extra 5 to 10 minute walk either way to get to, the downtown area there, depending on which way you're going. Okay, so let's just move on. I only have a little bit of time here in the library. I'm at the library. Maybe I can get a fast little scan of... I'm in a classroom, so it doesn't look like it, but I'm actually in a classroom. No one can hear me, but I'm going to do this really quick. I only have about 40 minutes till I close here, so I'm hoping to... My last episode of this was an hour and 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to keep it a little bit less than that. So, but anyways, so here you go. Here's the front page, right? Hospital shows improvement in latest ratings. Bridge work on the way. They're already talking about the Gaslight project. They just bring it up a couple of weeks ago, and now they're saying, well, the bridge is going to be connecting it, and the Gaslight project is going to be taking over the sculpture garden, and all these things will be a part of it. They're not even asking everyone if we want it or what we think of it. And again, that's all they do is they just make sure the paper has a picture of Santa, sitting with Santa. All right, so he's fake. The kid's sitting there going, you know what? It's a fraud. This guy isn't really Santa. This isn't Santa. It's a fake beard. He's totally looking through the fraud. That kid, you can tell he's looking through the fraud. Anyone that cries on Santa's lap, as far as I'm concerned, can see through the deception. Following the Hesper Santa Claus parade on Saturday, which I missed, The jolly old elf himself met with children, including 2-year-old Liam Barkley at Forbes Park for parade photos. See page 3. So yeah, there we go. Indoctrination of children. That's all they got to do is keep the indoctrination going, right? Saturday, December 3rd, I was in Haspler. I was at my dad's little surprise party for his 70th birthday and for his retirement. So that was where I was at. It was a very rare occasion. I was very proud to be there. I love you, Dad. So there you go. Front page of the Cambridge Times paper is all about just telling you what they're going to be doing, what the money that we make here, and literally just kind of saying that, we're going to do all this and just don't worry about it, just shop. Just shop, think about Santa and the indoctrination of that. Second page, we got Source Flooring. This is all flooring. Metroland Media again, here we go. Yeah, like they're connected to your community. Sure they are. They're connected in a way that we don't want you connected. Sort of like the way that we're forced to have smart meters. Times News. Okay, here we go. Exactly like 2 weeks ago. You got just a bunch of parade stuff, which is nice. You see a lot of kids, show the kids the happiness of everything. But really what we're living in is this oppressive, getting more expensive every year type system. And again, beside all the happy cheering, you've got crime. Suspects sought after man stabbed and galled. Like who are making up these stories? I almost feel like they're all made up stories. And if they're not made up, then, I don't know. I just feel like there's definitely something there that's just trying to keep people in the midst of thinking that things are dangerous and we need the police in our life. So let's throw this right beside a Christmas beautiful day of what this is supposed to be, right? Fake Santa. Hi everybody, I'm a fake Santa. All the kids think that they see Santa. It's not even Santa. And the kids are waking up to that. And we got to be honest to our kids, honestly. So look at that. Suspects sought after man stabbed and galled. Police are asking for the public's assistance in figuring out who stabbed a man early Saturday morning near Tilbury Park. Why even put it in the paper then? If you're still working on the investigation, wait till you find the guy. I guess it's good to put it out, I guess. According to police, that's if it's true. According to police, the man was confronted by 4 individuals at about 3 a.m. and was stabbed during a physical altercation. Okay, so 3 a.m., most people are totally asleep. But this was early Saturday morning, so it's Friday night, so it's not typical. I mean, it's very typical for people to be out, being out of it and dangerous at 3 in the morning, but I don't know many people that are like that anymore, but, the police seem to find them at 3 in the morning. The man's injuries are described as non-life-threatening. They're non-life-threatening. Anyone with some information, please do this. So it just makes me feel like no one will ever call. They just put it out there to make it seem like there's something going on. I'm only saying that because it seems to be that's the way it is here. Just to keep people, this page here, police page, is all about just making us be reminded that there's crime in the city and that the police are needed. And I feel that they just do this to indoctrinate us, to feel like that things are always kind of unstable. City, pay parking tickets with a toy donation. See, that's cool. The City of Cambridge has once again allowed naughty drivers to make it good on their parking tickets by paying with a new unwrapped toy of equal or greater value of their ticket for the next 2 weeks. Wow, okay, so this steers the economy in Cambridge, the corporate Cambridge economy. So that's why that is driven. You buy a product in Cambridge, that goes to the Cambridge economy. And Cambridge was taken over in amalgamation in 73, right before the private banking system took us over in 74. So it was timed out perfectly to just kind of take us over, really. I don't know how else you can describe it. Okay, so they're offering that, so people can go, and that's pretty cool. People will think, I don't want to pay the ticket. But if it's for something good, sure, the money goes to Cambridge. So it's just like instead of no one paying any money, you may as well offer an incentive so Cambridge can get something from, something. Because they're vultures in Cambridge here. They literally are, for finding people for everything they can. Okay, so here we go. So that's a beautiful page with all the nice Christmas stuff, all this dreary, crappy news around it. Greatest improvement at Cambridge Memorial Hospital, ratio of anticipated deaths. See, this is the weird thing, anticipated deaths. This is interesting. Maybe I should start reading this again. Okay, so here we go. Canadian Institute of Health Information found patient survival rates at hospitals within the Wellington Local Health Integration Network to be among the best in the country. In fact, Kitchener's St. Mary's Hospital was ranked #1 and local. I'm not going to say much, but I did go around and warn all these people that they were getting aluminum exposure because of nanoparticulates in a lot of the hospitals in and around Southern Ontario, specifically Cambridge Hospital. Anyway, and so it's nice to see that they're, based on the death rate, that they're actually keeping up with it. But what I want to make a comment was the death rate is caused by a lot of neurological diseases because of nanoparticulate aluminum in the atmosphere getting in our system. Okay, for the ratio of anticipated deaths report, this is a Cambridge Memorial Hospital saying that they're keeping up really well with the fact of keeping people alive, considering there's a lot of people that are about to die, they'll be able to keep alive, so that's good. That's good. I just wish they'd be honest with the people on why they're... Okay, so here we go. On to the Times News again, the exciting, really boring and oppressive paper I've ever read, like that we're forced to read. It's the only paper we have now in Cambridge. Transit waste collection charges for new development. See, look at, again, we're just gonna get charged for something again. It will take millions of taxpayers' dollars to make up for the lack of charges developers pay for building throughout the region. Developers won't be required to pay waste or transit charges in the cores of Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, including Galt, Hesper, and Preston downtowns. See, that's what it is, Galt, Hesper, and Preston. Or transit charges in townships until 2019, according to the region's Administration and Finance Committee. Developers won't be required to pay waste. Okay, they won't be required. So who's making us be required? The new charges were approved last Wednesday. Okay, by who? Like, who's doing this, you know? I don't want my township to suffer because we can't encourage development, said Wilmot Mayor Les Armstrong to council a week earlier. Let's give this 2 years to get a better understanding of how everything is progressing with the light rail transit and development. Others argued in the meantime, someone has to pay for the infrastructure needed for development. If it won't be the tax developers, it'll be the taxpayers, said Councillor Sean Strickland, committee chair. I think these exemptions for developers need to come to an end. We should be charging whatever we can to recover growth costs. Oh my golly gee. Strickland said, for as long as I've been in municipal politics, having more revenue generating tools gets us closer to growth paying for growth. What? Tools gets us closer to growth, paying for growth. After a year ago, the province passed a bill to allow municipalities to charge developers for waste collection and transit infrastructure. Wow, okay. On November 22nd, after a lengthy consultation process, staff recommended enforcing these changes, or these charges, everywhere except for Kitchener and Cambridge's cores. It's the region's practice to mirror what the lower tiers already have in place in its own policies. Both Kitchener and Cambridge had previously opted out of other development charges because people are getting fed up with the charges. We're getting fed up with it. So why even waste our time with any of this? It's just really annoying news. They're just like, hey, everyone, remember this. We wanted to charge you for this, and it may happen in 2019. Yip-de-doo. Thank you very much. I'm not even going to read the rest. I'm sorry, folks. I'm moving on. It's just the most amazingly oppressive paper in the planet. Notice the clients of Kopp and Cosman lawyers, blah, blah, blah. Retired from the practice of law. Oh, isn't that, look at that. They noticed the clients. They're going to be leaving. That's too bad. They made enough money. They're taking off somewhere else. Might be that they're not making enough money. Anyway, Fabricland, Home for Holidays, 40% off sale. You know, it's anything to sell. It's good local place, so I'm not going to argue with that. Moving on, don't rush electoral reform, editorial. Yes, exactly. When it comes to electoral reform in the province and federal levels, the water gets much more muddier than it does for municipalities. That's because party politics come into play, including the tendency of voters to cast ballots in support of a party leader rather than a local candidate whose name they place an X beside. This makes it much less obvious of what process would work best to divvy up the seats of the House of Commons. It's clear the current first-past-the-post system is lacking, as the majority of people don't necessarily see the person or party they supported or elected. All votes should be represented in some way on Parliament Hill. Last week, an all-party parliamentary committee recommended the federal government hold a referendum on whether to maintain FPTP or adopt a form of proportional representation. Of course, proportional representation could work a variety of ways. A referendum is called for in this case, but clear options must be presented to the people, not just a vague concept. Okay, agreed, thank you. Canadians need specific proposals and clear understanding of how each works in order for a referendum to be useful. Engaging education is needed to gather informal opinions. We hope Prime Minister Justin Trudeau acknowledges his pledge on reform before the next federal elections was too aggressive and takes a more measured approach. Okay, no, that's great, good electoral reform. What about the spraying? No one's talking about the spraying at all. You can tell the papers have nothing to do with spraying at all. They don't want to tell anybody what's going on. Okay, ready to answer some questions on electoral reform, but first another cat video. That's exactly it, we're all taken away by our iPhones. Okay, there we go. With another guest columnist. With online survey, United Way looks for direction. Okay, so Okay, here we go. So they're talking about the United Way, and they want people to. Did you know that 2 weeks ago they had a lady in that was talking about another foundation, the Stephen something Foundation, and now this is about United Way. Would you be willing to take 10 to 15 minutes to complete an online survey for United Way? Yes, please go. See, like, what is it that's so important? Like, does someone call and say, hey, listen, I really think it's important for United Way to have money sent to them? And then the letters that the editor gets called, and this guy goes, yeah, let's put her in, because that's important. Okay, so you know what? I skipped a couple weeks, and it's funny that 2 weeks later, we have the same thing happening. Another guest columnist selling off another agency for everyone to put money into. United Way has been called out as being fraudulent in a lot of ways. Maybe we will add some things into that right now if I can find some. You know, wow. Okay, so that's interesting. Again, Cambridge Times, you're like, it's totally obvious what you're doing here. This is, you guys remember it, last November 22nd edition, had another lady talking about another foundation to donate to. So here we go, United Way, you know, looking for money. Here we go, survey, it's a survey, right? But you know they're going to be looking for money. Suyana Kazizwaran is a community engagement specialist with United Way, Cambridge and North Dumfries. Okay, great. So there you go, they need money, right? Cambridge and North Dumfries. You know, I don't even know what to say anymore. This paper is just so pathetically oppressive. Sports Hall of Fame needs more Hesper. Okay, so here we go again, now sports. After all the crap they throw at you, then they just go to sports. Okay, just sports, here you go, sports. Sports Hall of Fame needs more Hesper. Many ways to save money other than cutting city services. Okay, so that's an actual letter to the Times now, is a sports thing. Okay, so many ways to save money other than cutting city services, yes. Everything on the table for city's 2017 budget. Now I was going to do that episode, November 29th. I do have it with me, and I'll show you it. Here it is, here, right here, November 29th. Everything on the table for city's 2017 budget. I was going to go through that because you know, honestly, it's up to us, not you guys. It is with interest that I read the budget information in the Times on how Councillor Pam Wolf says everything is on the table, yet the only items mentioned are items that impact the public. Why is it that the only way for the city to save money is for its citizens to suffer? I love this is written. This reminds me of the Supper Park pool is going to be taken over. It's a ridiculous thing, saying it was going to save 50,000. Is this leadership? No, it's not. Are there no other ways to save? How about keeping the vehicles used by city for 1 year longer? To review all contingency funds or perhaps, I'm glad they said this because they have all brand new issued City of Cambridge vehicles. I'm telling you, all of them are brand new. City vehicles are all brand new now. To look at, so we're tied into some really, our armory was funded by Federal Reserve money, and I found a blunder in the Cambridge archives, in the city archives, that actually lied. It had different information from the City Hall minutes in 1920. They were totally different. There's like totally different. The 1912 City Hall minutes, sorry. Totally different information in the when you look at City Hall minutes and you look at the archives. I even wrote an article in the paper about it, and it went in the paper. Hopefully I can find that. Okay, so I like this article so far. So, you know, let's not make new vehicles all the time. You know, like, let's just take a break. To look at discriminatory spending lines, to lower the temperature and lighting of any buildings when no one is occupying them. only lighting or heating just the areas where people are in the building, to offer financial incentive to staff that help to reduce expenses, even rewarding a city department that comes into under budget. Let the people who work there figure it out, help figure it out. Let the people who work there help to figure out and get rewarded for reducing our costs. They know the system's much better than we do. Also, private industry does offer the same incentives, perhaps even one public recognition for those who do save us in the most in any given year. Who knows, at the very least, it may just cut down on this wear and tear of equipment used, and this alone will save money. Thanks, Richard Dixon, for writing another great article. So thank you, because we're getting fed up. We really are, man. Like, you're just going ahead and making everything, all the decisions without having any public consensus. You just keep doing it. We're getting really fed up. We were fed up a long time ago. Okay, next page. Actually, did I miss some things? Oh, yeah, let's see. There's here we go, the carpet place again, and then a car place, credit. Let's get some cars going, right? It's important to have cars on the road, I guess, right now, which is not. We're in a power fight struggle in our life right now, and they're selling off all the garbage still. Moving on, hot tubs. What's this? Cambridge Farmers Market. Glad to have that. I perform there every year percussionally. I'm proud to be able to do that. Thank you, Alexandra, the performance booking planning lady. You're amazing. Here we go. Local man fined for illegal deer hunting. Okay, good. I'm glad that he was fined for that. I'm not even going to read it. I'm just glad he was. Okay, good. That's actually the only good news I've actually seen in here. Okay, I guess, he was approached by a conservation officer for compliance inspection. During the inspection, it was determined the hunter had shot at a deer without having the required validation tag and without a firearm prohibited for that use. Okay, so great. He shouldn't be shooting the deer anyway, you freaking jerk. Why even shooting deers? What's wrong with people, man? I understand, deer meat's good, and whatever. You feel macho killing people, eh? Great. Well, I'm glad that you got a fine. Okay? He was fined $1,500. Good. Good for you. But then after he pays the fines, he's going to go out and shoot deer again? Is it going to matter? This whole paying money thing is ridiculous. Lifetime Achievement Award for Food Bank's Pat Singleton. Okay, you know what? I love you. Thank you very much. Because this woman is really, honestly, incredible. Everyone around the city is always putting in the food bank, and every city should be putting in the food bank. So again, I'm grateful for all this. What I do is I dissect through the paper and read the tyranny and point it out. Everything else is good news. I'm going to skip it. Lifetime Achievement Award for Food Banks. Well, not skip it. I'm going to recognize it, but move on. I'm going to read through it. So it's good. I'm glad that the Achievement Award went to her, because she's been doing a lot to keep money in the food bank. Next page. Bath area specialist. Again, cares wanted. And then here we go. Times community. All right. So let's see about what the Times community section. Police raising awareness about text with 9/11 services. Great. Thanks, police. I'm going to make a statement again right now. Cambridge Times is owned, operated by the police, Waterloo Regional Police, the Cambridge and Cambridge Reporter. The Cambridge City Hall, and the administration, and the paper. The paper, the police, and the administration work together. Okay, so this is our Times community. Police raising awareness about text with 9/11 services. Waterloo Regional Police reminding those with hearing and speech impairments that the local police service offers text with 9/11 text messaging program enabling direct communication with 9/11 operators. Okay, so that's cool. You can do that. So that's a really good thing. There is a lot of different mechanisms out there that keep people connected and stuff. I just feel like we need to get back to our analog systems so when the power goes out, we can still use these systems. Because you can dial on a ground line, 911. But if you have the power out, you're not going to be able to do it on your phone. So I'm not understanding really what's going on here, unless there's a backup grid that's going to take care of that. But that's good, though. I guess they got 911 services on their phone, so that's cool. They can text. They can text with 911 services. That's good. I don't know. It's a little invasive too, the whole cell phone thing, promoting it and everything, because it's kind of damaging. Give people brain tumors and health problems and stuff, and literally indoctrinating the public into a black hole. So anyway, well, that's good to look at that. And then here we go right to the sports section, which almost seems like it went to a sports section already. 12 Hawks play an All-Star Weekend. Here we go, Winter Hawks getting... Okay, so this ends up where they get a dedicated full-color page on sports, on hockey. And they always get it. They always get it. Doesn't matter, because it's important, right? To spend it all on, dentistry, which is important. I guess foot and ankle. All this stuff's really expensive, by the way. Everything that you see in here, except for a few things. Community things, like the food bank thing, and getting some money off of the farmers market ads and stuff like that's nice. Here we go, talking about sports again, Winter Hawks. Again, I know what it's like to get your name in the paper for sports. It's kind of cool, but look at all the freaking pages. 3 pages dedicated to sports and advertising. That pretty much is all about, bigger sales and M&T and having their association with the post office, which acts in weird ways too, with each other, with the communities and the Nazi programming through the years. The post office has been very handy in working with that kind of Nazi-like structure. So we need to understand the history of how the postal outlets actually helped out in Nazi Germany. Okay, so here we go. We still got major, like sports. It's 3 pages of sports. Here we go. Just ads, computer problems, boots. Here we go. Community stuff. Dental care. Another dental care costs money. Oil change, car stuff. Cambridge Christmas Market, December 8th to 11th. Okay, and more indoctrinate stuff. It's just, we understand there's Christmas. Thanks to the Cambridge Times. All the classified ads, I'm almost at the end of this. Okay, classified ads. Call expert, just a bunch of ads. This is another edition of the Cambridge Times. Apparently, I feel bad for the people that passed away. Our little community events things, the Preston Horticultural Society, and the Rotary Club of Cambridge North, and Bid Euchre, and Dancers with PD, and on Silent Night, which was really weird. I heard the weirdest sounds that night, but whatever. When you're down there, it sounded kind of nice, but when you're away from it, it sounded like a factory horn going off all night or all day. The Preston Hespeler Rotary Club, Euchre, and Bingo, and Euchre, and Cambridge Toastmasters, and Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. Well, that's what's going on in our Cambridge, in our community. Anyway, it just goes to show I'm sorry if that offended anybody. I was just being silly. Even my grandmother laughs at that. Okay, and Canadian Tire's on the back page. This includes and concludes our December 6th edition of the Cambridge Times. Thank you for watching.